Have you got any advice around um, how others can ensure that they don't fall for a cult-like environment?
Yeah, well, um, part of it is there's different pieces, right? So part of it is learning to be in your body, learning to feel what's happening. And if you start to feel like oh, I don't really like this person, or you start to get a funny feeling about someone, listen to that. Really, really listen to it. It can be very, very subtle. You might not, it's almost like you may not intellectually understand what's up with this person at first, maybe ever. It's like we'll pick up on it in our body. We'll start to feel like a weird feeling. We'll start to feel angry or like a funny feeling in our stomach, often before we actually know what the problem is. And so that's one piece is to get in, learn to be in the body, learn to feel and listen to those really subtle impulses regarding the people that you're in touch with. Sometimes it can be a simple way to look at it is, it's the thing I have to like everyone. I think that's from my religious upbringing, but now I can kind of see that if I really, really like someone, it's usually because they're a decent person. If I don't, if I'm a bit like, there's something off. That's how I describe it to myself. There's something off about that person. And I usually like, it doesn't mean I'm not going to be friends with them, but I'm going to be a little bit more wary and careful when they're around. That's how I sort of tried to approach it. So that's one piece. Another piece is understanding probably some of the dynamics that these people use. And I don't even know if it's always conscious. Like I don't in some ways blame them because it's, I think it goes back to their childhood, the way they were raised. Certainly with my dad too, I'm like, man, he just doesn't have the tools to do it in a healthy way. And so I think people want validation, they want money, they want different things, and they'll use very destructive tools if they don't have the creative tools. But a big part of it, I went down this rabbit hole of reading books. One book was called The Guru Papers. Another one was Combating Cult Mind Control. Really fantastic book. These books just sort of explain there's a pattern or a way that cults work, a way that manipulative people work, and part of it is and that narcissists do it by like borderline personality disorder type people. Like these types of people will often use these strategies, not necessarily consciously, I think, a lot of the time. But a core of it is to make you feel like you're a piece of shit, to make you feel like something's wrong with you. Something's wrong with who you are, what you do, what you're into. That's a standard tactic of manipulation, of whether it's through guilt tripping, like, oh, I've done so much for you. How can you be so judgmental? Something like that. That's using guilt. The gaslighting could be like, what are you talking about? I'm not being dramatic. You're just being dramatic. I'm not a dick. You're the dramatic one here. So there's different tools that they use. Minimization is another one. Like if you have a problem with someone, and you tell them about it, and they're like, "It's not that big of a deal. What are you so upset about?" These things. It sounds reasonable, but it's a manipulation. It's a manipulative strategy because if it's a big deal to you, it's a big deal. That's how this stuff works. And so it's learning to see that. But I think the core of all those different techniques is that something's wrong with you. Whatever you feel, whatever your way of seeing the world, if you think it is a big deal, it's not really a big deal. You know, if you think you should be upset about this, no, you really shouldn't be upset about this. So the whole structure of it works around making you feel like something's wrong with you.